Herzlich willkommen, liebe Zuschauerinnen und Zuschauer, zu «Heute im Gespräch». Wir sind heute beim zweiten Teil von unserem Gespräch mit dem Anthony Graves, der 18 Jahre lang hinter Gitter gesessen ist, ein grosser Teil davon in der Todeszelle. Anthony Graves, in the first part you told us about your time in prison. After a long time you got awarded a new process, a new trial. How did that happen?
Well, in 1994, I was sentenced.
Arrested, yeah.
In 1992, I was arrested. 1994, I was
You were
sentenced.
Yeah.
In the year 2006, I had been filing numerous appeals and had been denied. But in 2006, U.S. Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals looked at my case, reviewed it, and decided that, wow, this man did not receive a fair trial because of egregious amounts of prosecutorial misconduct, such as lying, withholding evidence that proved my innocence, threatening my alibi witnesses to prosecute them if should they come testify for me. Just so many things that this prosecutor did that the court said there's no way this man could have received a fair trial.
Yeah.
And if he had known these things, he probably wouldn't have gotten convicted. So they overturned my conviction in 2006. And I thought that was it. But the same county that prosecuted me came pick me up to take me back and decided they was going to retry me. And I sat there for 4 years after my case had been overturned because they didn't want to admit that they had made this type of mistake.
Okay.
So I had to sit there and lose 4 more years of my life before someone finally did the right thing, which was a prosecutor that they hired to come in and retry the case. And they didn't just go hire any prosecutor. They went and hired the prosecutor that had the most convictions for capital murder cases.
Yeah.
She had tried 19 men for capital murder and had won every one of them. So she sent 19 men to death row.
Yeah.
And they went and hired her to come and retry me. But the thing about it is the reason why she's so good is because she was thorough, very thorough in her investigation. So she came and started investigating my case and was just totally blown away at what she had seen. And she concluded, my God, this man is innocent. So this lady, whose name is Kelly Siegler, did the courageous thing and dismissed the charges, not because there was no evidence, but because this man was innocent. While other prosecutors did the cowardly thing and walked away instead of dismissing the charges. So I went through like 8 prosecutors before I finally got to this prosecutor who did the right thing. And I was free that day.
But before you got free, it was a really long period of time that you were in jail again before the trial took place. Were you afraid of the trial? Were you afraid it would happen the same thing? You would get another unfair process?
No.
No?
No, because the reason why I wasn't afraid because I was innocent. And I knew you couldn't change that fact.
But you were innocent in the first trial.
And I wasn't afraid the first time.
Yeah.
No. And the reason why is because I was innocent. And that's just a fact you was never going to be able to change. So I could live with what happened afterwards. But the fact is, I was standing on the truth and that I was innocent. And because of that, I felt that I was really armed, you know. So I wasn't afraid. I was ready to go to battle for my life again.
Yeah.
It just so happened that this prosecutor decided that, hey, this man is innocent.
Your case attracted a lot of attention. Law students, journalists, lawyers studied your case. Do you think that helped the public attention?
Well, yeah, definitely. You know, public is a powerful thing. I mean, we are the people. In a democratic society, we the people supposed to have the power. And so because the people started voicing their concerns, it made those that were in position to do something about it take a closer look. And so definitely without the people, I wouldn't be sitting here.
Yeah.
I probably would still be sitting in jail, or I've been sent back to death row.
Can you describe the second trial? Was it very emotional?
There was no trial. They dismissed the charges before an actual trial.
Oh, yeah.
I was set to go to trial February the 14th, which was Valentine's Day. But they dismissed the charges before that. That was very emotional.
Yeah.
Because I had been geared up to continue to fight for my life. You know, that was my whole mindset. It's just, I'm just going to fight until I'm free or I'm dead. But I'm not going to compromise the truth. And so that was my whole mentality, you know, going forward. But I was blindsided by the dismissal, by this prosecutor doing the right thing. I wasn't expecting it because I had lost faith in prosecutors doing the right thing.
Okay.
And so when she did the right thing, I was just so off guard, I couldn't even connect with my own emotions about it for a while. It was just a whole surreal moment to me, you know. And yeah, but it became very emotional. And it's still emotional for me now because I've only been out 6 months.
Yeah.
And it was emotional because this was going to be, since I had been released, this was going to be the first time that my mother got to touch her son in 18 years. I'm her firstborn. My mother went through this with me every day. 18 years. And the way we used to touch each other, we would have to put our hand up on the glass, a piece of glass, because that's the only way we could communicate. But this glass had been removed.
Yeah.
And she was just now finna hold her son. So that was very emotional. And it's emotional for me now.
What did you do the first day that you were free?
When I got out, no one knew. My family, no one
knew then?
No, it was just, I didn't know.
Yeah.
They came to me that day and told me to come go up front with them in the jail. And I didn't know why. And when I got up there, that was my attorney's there. And my attorney she was trying to hold back tears. So I'm thinking it's just more bad news, you know?
Okay.
Because I don't know nothing.
Yeah.
And then my attorney tells me, the charges has been dismissed. And you're free to go home. And I didn't even know how to react because I had been geared up to fight for my life. And just like that, it changes again. You know, it just, after 18 years and 4 months, it just changed again, you know? And so I didn't know what to do. And I kept asking my attorney, well, what's next? And she said, you know, put your clothes on. You know, I put my clothes on and
and you walked out? And
I finally walked out. I walked out. And when I got out there was media there. And everybody was asking me, well, where's your mom? Do your mom know? What did your mom have to say? And my mom don't know. My mom don't know. Nobody knows. And they said, well, call your mother. And I said, I don't know how to use no cell phone. I've been locked up 18 years.
Yeah.
So they had to use a cell phone for me. And they got my mother on the phone.
And then you talked to her.
Yeah, and see, my mom and we always had this little thing where I would call her and I would ask her what she was cooking. Because the food was so bad at the jail that I was in. I used to just want her to tell me what she was cooking so that I could just visualize it. Yeah. You know? And every time she would tell me, then I asked her, I said, then why did you tell me that? And she said, well, you asked, right? I said, but I just wanted to know. I can't eat it. And so that day when I got out, they called her for me. And I said, Mom, what you cooking? She said, why? I said, because I'm coming home. She said, you lying. I said, Mom, I'm out in the parking lot right now. I'm coming home. I'm on my way home. And that was emotional for me.
Of course.
It's still emotional for me because this was my mother finna get a chance to hug her kid. Hug the little boy she raised up into a man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you went home to her after 18 years and you saw your mother again?
Yeah, and she didn't cook anything. She was so emotional. She couldn't. No. So I went home and by this time, the news had broke. And everyone came. So many people was in the street. And when we pulled up, everybody just ran to the car And I got out the car and everybody just hugged me and embraced me. And then I see my son, my oldest son.
Did you recognize him?
Yes, because I had been visiting. He come to see me. And I got to hug him. And we cried. Because we just cried for so many reasons. And then I turned around and my mother was walking toward me. And we just hugged. And
an incredible feeling.
Yeah, just one of those moments, you know. Yeah, just one of those moments. Yeah.
So I guess those were amazing moments. But after that, was it hard to settle in again in a normal life after?
No,
no,
not really. Not
was
really.
it easy?
Not really, because I had been looking forward to this for 18 years.
But weren't there some weird things?
Well,
a lot of things that you didn't know that you missed.
A whole lot of things.
Yeah.
Technology was one of them. I hadn't been up on technology, but what I was scared as well, because I felt like I was going to wake up and this had just been a dream, and I would still be in jail.
Yeah.
Still fighting. But then I woke up and I was in a big old bed, and someone knocked on the door and said, "Anthony, you know, you can go shower in there when you want to." And I said, "I'll do it later on." That was the first choice I had to make for myself. I didn't have to get up because the officers were telling me. I could get up when I wanted to. I knew I was free. Yeah, I knew I was free then.
How is your new life? What have you doing since then?
Because of my experience with this death penalty, 18 years being incarcerated, I feel like I have gotten me a master's degree, a doctorate degree in the death penalty.
Yeah.
And so I've decided to take that degree and go back and help others and to educate people about this injustice. So now I am an investigator for the Texas Defender Service in Austin, Texas. And we work on death row cases. We go back and we try to find mitigating evidence or mitigating circumstances that would allow them an opportunity to get off of death row. Not necessarily prison, but get off of death row. So that's what I've dedicated my life to helping others now that are in similar position that I once was in. So it's what I'm doing. I'm proud to be doing it. It's not a job. It's just what I love to do. It's a passion. I didn't choose it. It chose me. I've embraced it wholeheartedly, and I'm working tirelessly to help free others.
But that's not the only thing you're doing. You're also touring and telling your story to us. Why are you doing this?
Well, because people don't understand that the death penalty is an emotional reaction to a bad situation. That's not how we should be making our laws. And I'm out trying to educate people to say that this thing here, because we are human and we make mistakes, this is not something we can afford to make a mistake with. Because when we make a mistake, this is what you get. You get an innocent man telling you that he was wrongfully convicted for 18 years and almost murdered because they got it wrong. And I'm saying, is it worth it? Is that really worth it? Because I could have been you. I could have been your son. I could have been your dad, your brother. And you better ask yourself, is it really worth losing my dad for 18 years and possibly murder just to have the death penalty? And so with my experience, I'm just going out sharing my story and trying to educate people as best I know how about this injustice, to say you do not want this. It has no place in our society. We're in the 21st century, and yet we have this barbaric practice going on. It shouldn't fit in our today's society. So this is why I'm traveling and speaking to people.
So you're fighting against the death penalty, but you still live in Texas, in a state where every year so many people are sentenced to death, where you were sentenced to death. Aren't you insanely mad at this state?
Well, you know, in order to fight the war, you got to go to where the war is.
Yeah.
And it's in Texas, which is death penalty capital of the world. Well, I mean, they're executing people left and right, sometimes twice a day. And then I have friends that are on death row that I got to know and love. And I just can't walk away. Because if I walk away, then my last 18 years will have been just in vain. I can't walk away.
So you're going to stay there where
and
it all
fight.
happens?
I'm going to stay there. I'm going to be the one holding up my fist with other death row inmates saying that we have abolished the death penalty. That's my dream.
And that's your plan for the future?
That's my plan. That's my plan, is to continue to travel and speak and educate people about this injustice and to fight the death penalty until it's abolished.
Okay.
Yes.
So, Anthony Graves, we wish you luck for your future. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. It was really, really interesting.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Und bei Ihnen daheim, liebe Zuschauerinnen und Zuschauer, bedanke ich mich fürs Zuschauen und wünsche Ihnen noch ganz einen schönen Abend. Auf Wiedersehen miteinander.